What's up, core reporters? Breaking news. Dawn Richards from the bands Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money is officially suing Sean P. Diddy Combs. And she joins a long list of people suing this man for allegedly doing some terrible, terrible, terrible things to them. So let's get over this lawsuit because, and I want to warn you guys before we get into it, that there's going to be a lot of very shocking, very graphic accounts of alleged acts of violence that Diddy allegedly committed against Dawn, against Cassie, and against Kim Porter, one of his baby moms, who unfortunately passed away recently. And a lot of people are saying that, you know, her death needs to be investigated right now because of all of the information that has since come out about Diddy and his demonic ways. So shout out to TMZ.com for pulling this up. I'm waiting to find the full lawsuit, but for now, we're going to go over what TMZ has to say about it. And like, just before we dive in, I got to say, I was wondering, and I made in my last Diddy video, I was like, what about Dawn? I know Aubrey's been kind of like hinting at things, but it doesn't seem like she's ready to file a lawsuit, which is okay. We all have our own time, right? But Dawn, what about Dawn? She hasn't even said a single word. Now here she is, ready to join forces with all the other men and women who have bravely spoken out against Diddy. Here's what her lawsuit claims. Again, coming from TMZ. Dawn Richards says that she got caught in Diddy's web as a participant in his show, Making the Band, as we all already know. According to her, during on-set auditions, Diddy called female contestants fat, ugly, bitches, and hoes. She said that Diddy had particular disdain for her because she was young and excited to work with such a famous person. How dare she, right? In 2005, the court documents say that Richard saw another of Diddy's former girlfriends, Kim Porter, crying as she left a music studio with her face all banged up. It was then, Richard says, she realized Diddy was capable of violence and her life could be in danger. So there you go. Honestly, it's crazy. All that glitters is not gold. Because I remember watching Making the Band and there being a scandal about him throwing that chair on the choreographer, who, by the way, shout out to her. Maybe she's going to come and file the next lawsuit because y'all, you should be keeping these coming. Anyway, a year later, Richard was present when Diddy was first introduced to Cassie, invading her space while transfixed on her in a predatory fashion, according to the docs. In 2009, she says she personally witnessed Diddy high on rugs, throwing Cassie against a wall, choking her, and dragging her up a flight of stairs in his LA home. Honestly, every time I hear about the things this man did to women, Cassie especially, just, you know, I'm still stuck on that story about like the implants that he forced her to get. Then he goes, actually, no, they're too big. And then he wanted her to be rolled back into surgery like the same day, like that type of stuff. I go, oh my God, I feel sick. Then remember, we saw the video of him stomping on her and just all of this just terrible stuff, you know. So I believe every last word of what these people have alleged that he's done to them, to Cassie, to anybody. My heart just breaks a million times over for Cassie and what she had to endure with this sick demon. I can't even say this sick man. He's just a demon, or I should say it's just a demon. Ugh. I like how do you even think to do these things to people, right? Dawn Richards says Diddy also hurled a scalding pan of eggs at Cassie while yelling, quote, "I've been asking you for my ish. I can't stand you, bitch. You never do it right." Oh, I wish he put some poison in those eggs. On other occasions, Richard says Diddy socked Cassie in the face and wrapped his hands around her throat, attempting to strangle her inside his LA mansion. At some point, Richard says she and others, including musical artist Kalena Harper, showed their support to Cassie and gave advice to her to leave Diddy, who found out about the conversation and threatened, quote, "Y'all bitches don't get in my relationship," adding, quote, "Don't tell my B, Cassie, what she needs to be doing. Just make money and shut the F up. I end artists. I shelve careers you could be missing. You bees want to die today." My God. So guys, this goes far beyond just music and then, you know, choosing to continue with it. Like, because some people go, oh, well, why did you stick around? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? When someone is that powerful, right, in the industry, and they're telling you, not only because I think career aside, he's saying like he'll shelve you, he'll make sure you'll never work in, you know, music. Okay. But he also said that they could turn up missing. Other things can happen to them. And you've seen what this thing is capable of. Of course, you are going to back down, especially when you're coming from a background where you're not, you're trying to make it. You're young, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not established or anything like that yet. You do not have the protection and the money to have round the clock protection against things like Diddy, right? So here Dawn was with the Danity Kane group, promoting their music, their album alongside Diddy. And here she was more recently. I can't, you guys. This stuff is all so shocking. It's really hard to hear. It truly is. Continuing along, Richard also says that she too became victim of Diddy's abusc. He was forcing her to rehearse 48 hours at a time without sleep, which I can believe. I saw how hard he was on making the band. As a result, she says she dropped a lot of weight, and she did. We've seen that, and became dehydrated and fatigued while suffering awful rashes. I wonder if those are stress rashes or something like that, or like hives. She says one time Diddy demanded she come to his Miami home where he was only wearing underwear. A lot of lawsuits have alleged these sorts of things against him or about him. When she asked him to put on clothes, Diddy refused, screaming, "This is my effing house." Diddy's treatment of Richard only got worse between 2009 and 2011. Richard says Diddy once barged into her dressing room while she was naked at his recording studio. She says Diddy inappropriately touched her breasts and butt. Diddy, she says, also locked her in a car with heavily tinted windows for 2 hours as she screamed for help, even calling her dad for help. Look at these dark eyes. Nothing behind them. Wow. I believe every word of what she's saying, just like I believe every word of what Cassie has alleged. I believe every word of what all of these people are saying. It's just too many people. It's just too much evidence out there. Richards claims she and her dad traveled from Baltimore to New York to free his daughter and confront Diddy, threatening to report him to the police. But Diddy told her dad, quote, "Think about your daughter and think about your daughter's career." So basically, think about her life and think about her career. There's no winning here if you try to take me down. And that's the thing. Diddy has been able to get away with a lot over the years. Remember that 1990s incident when he was starting out his career and everything like that? Like other things, like, right now they're reopening the cases into Tupac's death and stuff like that. Did he get away with that as well? Right? Speaking of deaths, what about King Porter? Was it really pneumonia? Or was it something else? Was it something Diddy related? We don't know. So Dawn, just like everybody else, who unfortunately went along with Diddy and were stuck with him for years, suffering under his thumb, like Cassie as well, like they had a lot of reason to be afraid. Look at the things that this demon was capable of doing. If you witness this type of stuff, the shock that you feel, right? The shock, you would be too scared to do anything, to leave. Right? And we saw on the show Making the Band how Diddy fired Danity Kane and then he kept Dawn, and she didn't really have the opportunity to turn to really think about her next move. It wasn't like, because a lot of people might wonder, oh, well, why did she continue to work with him in Danity Kane? In Dirty Money. Well, it's not like he came out of the blue years later. Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to work with me on this new project? It was on the spot. And when someone like this, who does things like that, tells you that they want to work with you some more, they want to do X, Y, or Z, and you're just a young girl, and you were already screwed on your record deal, you weren't making that much money as it is, so you can't really, you're kind of scared because he's talking about releasing other people from their contracts, but you're still under contract with him. You go along with it, don't you? Take a listen to the clip.
I've given a lot of thought, and I'm gonna let you out your contract too. As far as for you, Dawn, I still want to make music with you. I still want you to be signed to the label. And, if I decide to put that together, Danity Kane, then, you'll be the only member that'll still be there.
Does she look happy to you there, or does she look stressed, nervous, and confused? I think it could be a mixture of like, you know, the feelings of being stuck working with Diddy again, and just like all of the alleged abuse that comes with that, and like the way that she's witnessing her friends, like, and colleagues that she's been working with forever up until that time, for years, and so closely as well, just being let go as if they were nothing. Honestly, this whole story is scary. I am really, really proud of Dawn Richard for coming out and speaking her truth and sharing her story. It's never, ever too late, and there can never, ever be enough voices. If Adriana wants to come forward, if Aubrey wants to come forward, if Dee Woods wants to come forward, you know, anybody who's capable or able, you know, and feel safe coming forward, they totally should come forward. Now is the time. This is Diddy's end year. Well, you know, like there's just no moving forward for him. Like the threats that he could have made against you in the past, like they're not as credible right now, because there's a huge microscope under him, and there are many, 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 many accusers who have come out. You know, solidarity is such a beautiful thing. And again, I have to congratulate Cassie for being the one to open up those floodgates. The way he came out, claimed that she was lying, that she was just using him for money, this, that, and the other, only to give her the money, and which to me technically means that you admit that you did some of these things and you want to make this lawsuit go away. And we already saw this evidence of him doing some of the things that she talked about in that lawsuit. So wow, kudos to you, Cassie. You are brave, 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 and you are saving so many people who have unfortunately already encountered this demon, and so many people who would have encountered this demon. But now, thanks to Cassie and her bravery, Diddy is just he's not that guy anymore. He's gonna have a hard time luring artists or anyone to come work with him or to come date him. There still will be a couple of very, you know, thirsty people who will try to get with him, thinking that whatever they go through with him is going to be any different. But for the most part, she's done a good job of just making him persona non grata, the way that it should be. Anyway, you guys, like I said, I'm going to do some digging to find the full lawsuit, and if and when I find it, I will be streaming it with you. But in the meantime, let me know how you feel about all this in the comment section down below. Again, congratulations to you, Dawn, and everybody else who's already filed. And, you know, sending all my strength and support to those of you who are thinking about filing. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as usual, we will chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.